this out.
Because everyone is devoid of all comedy, I'll write it for you. How about that?
I got this. I got you.
Yeah, you got
all
me.
right. That's it for the news. And speaking of raping our childhood television shows, let's talk about the Rape Tavern in World of Warcraft.
That was the worst transition I've
terrible.
ever heard.
Boom.
You're like really bad at everything.
Was fucking awful.
Boom.
Did you even
I'm almost proud.
Did you even try?
More than these jokers.
I mean, I
plugged a website we want people to go to.
I don't think that that's necessarily true.
That wasn't a segue.
So what?
I did more than Nika.
It's all bad.
I did more than Nika. Give me that.
It was still pretty
Kidding,
good,
obviously.
I think the fact that I didn't make that bad joke makes me better.
To be fair, he's not wrong.
like
we are
Avatar.
talking about a rape tavern today.
That is true.
That is
Everybody
accurate.
likes Avatar.
So, World of Warcraft has the Goldshire Inn. It's a pretty common place. In fact, if you've ever rolled a human in that game, you've most assuredly been there.
The Golden Shower Inn?
The Golden Shower Inn, absolutely.
Like pee?
Like our president, Nika.
Yes, Nika, like pee.
Wow.
I've not heard of this, so continue.
No, it's fair. I hadn't heard about it till I read the story either. I did not know this was a thing.
Like, it
so
shouldn't
this has
be a
become
thing.
this has become the ERP den of
Oh
Azeroth.
God, of course it has been.
But unlike,
Of course, the Golden Shower Inn would.
you would
Okay,
think so.
no. The reason is because it's the first little town that you can get to as Alliance. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So you can roll a fresh character.
That's not why at all.
No, it's
it
exactly
is.
why. It's because you
mean,
can
it
roll a
does-
fresh character and you can go there immediately.
Yeah, it does play a role.
It's much the same reason that it's like because Uldah's Adventurers Guild is what it is in 14 because you can get there immediately.
Yeah, and you can't do it in the frosty peaks of the Alterac Mountains with the dwarves because it's just too cold there. Your nipples just burst out of your boob sacks.
Plus, dwarves reproduce asexually. That's just it's not.
Dwarves and gnomes.
Yeah, if you want a place to ERP, you don't. That's just not
where you go.
That's fairly sexless.
Now,
and nobody wants to ERP with a dwarf.
Now, this is of course
That is
been
also
going
true.
on for years. This is nothing new, but there was a story recently put out about it talking about the the rape that has begun to happen there. It has become a place for people to enact rape fantasies.
Oh no.
So when players go there, they are typically solicited for cyber sex because most people who go there, that's why they're there. And recently, it has become a thing that even if you say no, they will follow you around jacking off on you. Or other things.
Okay, well, how do you jack off, though, in an MMO?
So, I'm actually going to yield to our Warcraft players here. I know there's a spell that allows you to basically shoot white fluid onto people.
There's probably a few different spells.
It's not white fluid, okay? If you're a paladin, you have a holy spell, and white aura comes out of you. And it's not like water or anything. It's just a spell, okay?
Yeah.
Look, essentially the ERP at the Golden Shower Inn has devolved from actual role playing to just using different animations or spells or emotes and stuff to simulate the act of having sex.
Now, this was really what's surprising when I was reading the story is because most roleplay communities, the emotes are very secondary. It's you're crafting a story.
It's text-based.
It's text-based, and you're crafting a story. They've literally gotten to the point where they're just spamming emotes to make it look like something's happening on the screen.
Yeah, definitely.
What does anyone get from that?
Yeah, what's the value in that?
So hot.
I mean, it is sort of like a very elaborate form of trolling, you know?
Yeah,
kind of.
So there's
okay, I was gonna say
Wait, so is this a place that a new player could just wander into?
Absolutely.
They will wander
They
here
just
because you have to
wander
go
in,
here.
all of a sudden someone's jacking off.
and yes, Chris, to your point, not only can you get there, the quests will take you there.
Yeah,
you
the
have to
quest
go
will
there.
direct you there, and you'll get quests and move on from them.
And I mean, one of the quotes in there was from one of these quote unquote digital rapists, which I think is still
this is
a very funny term. But they had said, I like it when they run. It makes it more real for me. I'm paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing there, but that was essentially what the quote was. Is that I like it when they run.
The article interviewed, I think they said like 40 players across 20 some servers, and yeah, a lot of them say that when people do run, because when you first come there, yeah, they'll solicit you for sex, whether it's in tells or public.
Sure.
They solicit for real phone numbers, contact information,
send nudes,
pictures, and stuff like that. And if you try to run away, yeah, for some of them, like that now becomes the sport is tracking you down elsewhere in the world
and jacking off
not
on
just
you.
around that area.
Yeah, to keep trying to harass you. So yeah, you can say stuff like,
that's
"Oh, well,
horrible.
well, just block them." But it's so easy now to create a new character and
Right.
keep on doing it over and over and over again.
Right, 'cause
that
it's all
really,
free, right?
Until level 20. Yeah, so really the
Yeah.
only way to get away from this type of harassment is to either log off or completely change servers.
I mean, I feel like the people that are more at risk for being a target of something like this is if you react to it. Like if you have some kind of big reaction where you're super offended or like, you know what I mean? Like
just engage at all.
yeah, where you're engaging. Yeah, like I think that is going to be more problematic for you in the long term, but I mean,
I'm rolling a character tonight. I need to see this.
I kind of
This is insane.
Kelly is turned on by this.
No.
Look at
It's
him.
still bothering me that like a 13-year-old could start World of Warcraft, his first online MMO. His parents finally let him buy it after so many years of wanting it, and then he walks into that.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
this really bothers me.
In fact, that's brought up in the article as well. That like they basically
so
asked,
start in the sexless dwarf city then.
But if you're 13
You have
and your
no
parents
way of
just finally
knowing.
gave in, how are you going to know?
Yeah, it's not like Blizzard's gonna be like, guys, don't start on the role-playing servers. There's a Rape Tavern.
Hold up, wait a minute. Like when I started this game, all the kids did play Alliance, and then it was. But I understand at some point that kind of dichotomy switched, and all like the adults were playing Alliance, all the kids were playing Horde. What is it at right now?
There's fucking noobs everywhere.
cares?
Oh, they all just suck. Okay,
Yeah,
never mind.
everyone sucks. Yeah.
And I think like like online interactions are not rated by the ESRB. Like,
But that is like no. This is literally why that phrase exists because someone at the
Yeah,
SRB
but-
is seeing the story and being like, exactly.
But what do you do? What do you do
but then
about it?
Here's a question though: if they're tracking you down elsewhere in the world,
Yeah.
isn't that like that's the same thing as like tell harassment? You're actually harassing and following someone. Like if you're following someone in FF14, FF11, sending them tells and spamming emotes at them, you can get them in trouble and you can get them banned.
Yeah,
So
it
is
takes
that not a
months
thing
and
you-
months and months of reporting. But
Is that
yeah.
not a thing you can do in WoW? Like this
you can send
person's been
tickets into
jacking off on
Blizzard,
you
right?
for a month. Can I ban him?
The problem
Like-
is that Blizzard has an ongoing promotion that you get to play for free until you hit level 20. So even if someone gets banned, Goldshire Inn is one of the first places you hit before even level 5. And you can go back for free over and over and over again.
Yeah, you can straight up roll a new account.
Yeah.
Even if they ban the account that it's
Like,
attached
can
to,
you
just
ban their
fresh account.
IP?
Maybe. I don't know if Blizzard would ever put that much effort into curbing something like this.
I mean,
But if someone's being like really crude and horrible, especially to a minor, like I feel like that they should, like even especially if the person's like, look, I'm a kid, I don't want to participate in this, and they continually do it, I feel like there should be repercussions for that.
On a 1-to-1 ratio, yeah. But this is so rampant now. How do you even start
Yeah, how do you police
to
that?
Yeah, I
investigate
don't
something
know.
like this or police something like this besides what? You know what? Beginner areas. Shutting off the chat? I mean, gee, come on.
yeah,
Oh, and Rayvon breaks a good point. They'll just VPN around the ban.
yeah, that too.
If you IP ban them,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
really wanted to, yeah, they
Yeah.
absolutely could.
Right. And so, yeah, there's from a technical aspect, there's a lot of reasons why this becomes very difficult, but there's also sort of like I feel like it's something that you can't even really police that kind of behavior because then you have to end up policing a whole bunch of other different behaviors.
That's
that
such
can
a slippery slope.
That can be, kind of categorized the same way, and it's already difficult, I think, to administrate an online game and be a moderator or GM of an online game, and the more like. A moral argument in a game is a weird thing, right? Like that always sends up red flags to me, and I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. It happens all the time. People argue about whether aimbotting or hacking or dissecting code or mods, mods, RMT. All of those things are very much up for debate, and I'm not saying that they're not, but I mean that there are even more innocuous things that people argue about, whether you're talking about hacked Pokemon that matter to zero fucking people, or because you can't bring those into a tournament environment,
right?
Or
your shinies devalue my real shinies,
right? Like that whole argument of it's silly. Like there's a lot of when you kind of step back from it all, it's very silly. And to go like, look, these are people who are using the chat how they want to use it. They're grouping up in a specific place. This is kind of one of the secondary functions of an online world or an online environment.
Right.
It just ends up happening. As Blizzard, I don't know that I feel morally obligated to do anything about it.
I'm with Evil Hippie in the chat. He says getting randomly come down is not a moral argument.
But you're not getting randomly come down. Someone is standing next to you and using their holy aura.
Yeah, but
yeah.
What does it actually matter? What is it actually what is that person actually hurting? Because the idea that we're even calling it rape, I think, is a little bit silly.
That's insane,
it's just it's just someone being ERP'd at, and
but I think
we've had that in the chat, and it can be obnoxious.
And follows them though. Once someone follows you out of that tavern and into the world while you're trying to play the actual game, I think then it becomes a problem.
But that's harassment, and that's pretty clearly harassment. And I think when it becomes that, Blizzard has a completely separate response and a different set of responsibilities.
Right. The term is the argument is against using the term rape. That's ridiculous.
Well,
harassment, absolutely. That's a fact.
I mean, again, and this article came from Vice.
I would like to point out there is a section in this article where they say the reason this is such a big deal is because some people feel so connected to their character they don't want them to go through this type of humiliation.
Stop
that's
it.
fair.
Stop it.
That's silly. My
fucking
concern more
stupid.
is for the kids.
Yeah, and I think, Nika, you actually have a little bit more of a valid concern, but at the same time, anyone who is allowing their kid to play an online game needs to be prepared for the fact that there are people who are going to say things or talk about things that they don't necessarily find acceptable, and as a parent, you either need to educate them before they go into that environment and give them a rundown of all of the things that you want them to take in there with them. And I think, again, that's contingent on the parent. It's not.
Especially with something like World of. But could a kid download that for free now?
In
Absolutely.
Germany, you have to be 12 years old to play World of Warcraft.
Okay.
12.
Because I know that when I taught second grade, I had 7th and 8th graders in my class, and I actually had a mother have a conference with me so that I could speak to her kid about why she should not play a game because she would not listen to the mother. Because she was 7 years old playing in a chat where there were adults that were cussing and using, other things.
What game was it?
Oh, God, I cannot remember now.
Penguin Club.
Club Penguin cost money, didn't it?
I have no
idea.
It was something along those lines, that it was some kind of game that she could access through the browser, but it had a chat function, and she was trying to get me, since I had played games, to kind of explain to her that I didn't play till I was a little older, the people that play with you don't know that you're 7, and I had to give her this spiel to justify her mom grounding her from this game. And it was just kind of just eye-opening for me that the parent was unable to get her child to stop playing.
Did it put you in an uncomfortable situation at all? Were you
a little, but I was also able to frame it around her academics, specifically because she would spell things she would type them in a chat on the game. She would spell people PPL, and I was like, no, we're not doing that. And she would type LOL in her journal, or she would write LOL in her journal. I was like, no, we're not doing this.
What's wrong with that? That gets the point across. LOL.
You're learning English.
There are definitely some people who would say that that's just a new form of English, and that.
Well, yeah, there's certain places where it's acceptable, but not when she's actually trying to
I agree.
Brainstorm a story and then write a draft and then edit it and publish it. That's not where you should be.
And we beat those people with sticks anyway.
But it was
What's
just
your
very
stance on
eye-opening
emojis?
to see that kind of thing happening, that kids can just wander into these chats. The people don't think that there are 7-year-olds playing, even though they say, oh, well, these people are really 7. Yeah, they are. So honestly, I know that you can't censor yourself just because there's a kid playing, but randomly jacking off on someone, especially if they tell you hey,
I'm jacking off on you.
Yeah, and then you're like, hey, I'm
being very
12,
explicit
stop
about
it, please. And they're like, nope, too bad, I'm going to follow you around and continually jack off on you. If I was a parent that didn't know much about games, I would be completely turned off to ever allowing my child to play a game again at that point. If that was the first thing my child saw when they booted up a game.
It's kind of like the same thing like when parents would sit down and like put on their kid's headset during an Xbox Live session and just be utterly horrified at the things they heard.
That's true too.
It's kind of the same concern.
And again, I think that like that is contingent on the parent to make the child understand that an online environment is in many times an unregulated environment, and it's just a floodgate for everything that is ugly or stupid about the world, and that there's going to be a lot of things that make you really uncomfortable.
Right, and I feel like great parents who understand that would absolutely be able to do that, but there are a lot of parents who don't really know much about what their kids are getting into when they join an online game, especially in my area where there's a lot of foreigners who don't necessarily even understand the English of what the game is describing. And so I feel like that there's just a lot that's lost between generations right now. I think when our kids are playing games, like of our generation, it's going to be very different.
Right, we're going to know.
The current like final generation of kids that are like 13 right now. Like,
yeah,
group of kids, I feel like their parents are just not necessarily aware enough to give that kind of speech to their child when they
I just don't know even many immigrants at this point that don't know what the fuck the internet is. Like, I understand your point about language and that there's a certain language barrier that I understand, but the internet is pervasive culture, if not the dominant culture here in America. I would say a lot of other places. That's the cool thing about the internet, is that it's worldwide, it's international. It's not necessarily Western culture that dominates the internet. It's the internet culture that's starting to dominate places where you have the infrastructure to have access to the internet. And if you're in the United States, you have the infrastructure access to internet. So I don't know that I totally accept the argument anymore in 2017 that there are just parents that are that this is through sheer ignorance.
I would love to agree with you, but being a teacher who sees parents on a regular basis who are totally clueless about how to like check my newsletter that I send them in their email, like, I'm serious, it's way worse than you would think.
Okay, hold on. Pause. Why and what is in your newsletter, Nika?
Talking about what we do in the class that week. What else would a teacher's newsletter be about?
I have no idea. That's why I'm trying to ask.
Well, but I think to Nika's point, though, she mentions that this is kind of the people who are kids now. They're kind of that last generation whose parents are going to be a little bit clueless about online gaming and what that takes to.
Sure.
Anyone our age when we have kids.
But not the and what I'm saying is that anytime you let your kid into an online environment, and I refuse to believe that there are people who don't know what an online environment looks like or don't know that their kid has access to it.
You there are.
No way, because they're paying the fucking bill. There's no 6 to 8 year old or 6 to 12-year-old that has figured out how to pay a fucking Comcast bill.
Well, no,
I struggle with it every goddamn month because it's so fucking expensive.
There's a lot of people who pay for the internet. They check their email. They do their work. And
yeah, but it's not like when we were growing up where you could have a net zero account that, my parents only figured out that I was accessing the internet because they picked up the fucking phone and heard me connected to it, right? Like that was a completely different time. I just don't know that I accept that argument fully anymore. And Nika, I understand your point, but I think at least a certain percentage of those people are feigning ignorance because either they didn't read the email on purpose and they just swiped through it. Like,
or
you know what I mean?
Sucks.
There's like a dozen different reasons that people could be like, oh well, I don't understand. I do that. Like I do that shit. Like I'm like, oh, I don't know how it works, and I know perfectly well how the fuck it works. I just you just kind of do that to throw ignorance under the bus instead of a person. But listen, I do understand your point that there may actually be some people still that don't have a good internet handle on internet culture. But let me ask something, because I'm just kind of curious. When did you first access like a chat room? Like for me, it was an AOL chat room.
Yep.
Yeah,
it was an AOL chat room. Yes, it was.
I was probably 12.
12.
Yeah, I was
What
about
grade is
that
12?
age too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have to
That's
go
about
based on
seventh. That's about
grade.
7th grade.
6th, 7th grade
Yeah,
for me.
yeah, middle school around there.
That was middle school.
Yeah, I would have said
yeah.
6th, 7th grade for me as well.
And I remember that, like, the first chat room, I thought I was like so over, because me and my friend were having a sleepover, and we were probably about 12, and it was an AOL chat room, and we were pretending to be like 19 and in college because it was so fun, right? And so people started asking us like, "What's your college major?" And we didn't even know what that meant. So we're like, math. Like we were so clueless, and like it was like the whole ASL. Here's a rose
back
for
in
you.
the ASL days. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, "Here's a rose." And we're like, "Oh, cool! Look, they made it a rose with the @ symbol. How cute!" Like it was. I mean, that guy thankfully wasn't like creepy, but we could have had like people. We were only 12.
Oh,
so,
I absolutely had people talk to me in chat rooms that were like
sketchy as
that
fuck.
would have gone badly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely that happened to me.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I mean,
I was on a lot of like forums too. By the time I hit like 8th grade, 9th grade, I had joined so many different
the
forums
forum
because they
days.
didn't have a lot of like chat specifically for like nerdy things.
By 8th, 9th grade, I was definitely into playing online games. Like I was definitely playing Ultima Online by 8th grade.
I started 11th.
If not, it may have been 9th grade, but
Yeah,
11 was
like
my first
8th or
too.
9th grade would have been like when I started playing like StarCraft.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Actually, yeah, you're right. No, I did StarCraft too. Yeah.
StarCraft was a little different though, because you could only chat with people on your team, right?
No,
they had
there was
full
a-
chat rooms in
yeah,
Battle.net.
There was a
They had
lot.
full
There was a
chat rooms there?
lobby system.
You
yeah.
think the AOL chat rooms were dirty?
Somebody, I tried to play StarCraft Online as a kid, but somebody had like hacked my Battle.net account number, gotten it banned before I ever even signed up.
Yep.
I'm so mad. I'm so mad.
it's like the 4th time we've heard that story on the show, I think.
It
really,
gets
I
better
don't know.
each time.
Yeah.
I can't remember who I've told, who I haven't told
I was
that.
gonna say I've never heard that story, but I also block her out a lot.
I mean, early on for me, there was a lot of wrestling chat rooms.
Yep.
A lot of wrestling chat rooms.
Gotta be careful in those wrestling chat rooms.
Yeah.
They'll start talking about men wrestling with each other.
I really like the WWF, but I never went into the chat room.
They start talking about, Greco-Roman style.
Yeah, Greco-Roman style. You want
like
some practice?
Olympic wrestling that happens naked.
Yeah, naked. Yeah.
Juxta or Chris, Fat, whatever the fuck your name is. You've been shaking your head the entire time. What was your first chat room experience?
I was in 5th grade, and I went to www.worldofnintendo.com.
Of course, it all comes back to Nintendo.
And there's a chat room there, and I spent most of my time there. And my first, I can remember what my first screen name was, and
Oh, really? This ought to be good. This ought to be really good.
Oh my God, what was everyone's first screen name?
I remember mine.
I can remember mine as well. It's terrible.
All right,
so
we're,
bad.
sharing, we're sharing. All right, we're sharing. Go, Chris.
all right. So the big thing in this chat room was like having teams or whatever for what, I don't know, role-playing purposes, I guess. And so I made my own team, and I was Captain Golden Moogle from Final Fantasy
Wait,
VI.
Moogle, but in a Nintendo chat room?
Yeah, Final Fantasy VI,
Nice,
Mika.
Yeah.
Or Final Fantasy
Oh,
3.
yeah, that was okay
Yeah.
back then. That's true.
That's way better than
But
mine. Mine's worse.
eventually-
Is that where CG comes from?
And then eventually, I'm like, I don't really like. I don't want to
Captain
be a
Golden,
Moogle.
that's
I don't
too
want to be
much.
Moogle anymore. Or Captain Golden, too long. So I became CG Moogle, and then eventually, I'm like, I gotta change my name because I had a bad RP session with this person. It didn't go good. And so I had to change my name, but I wanted to keep the CG because I was cool. So I
That
went
was
to
cool,
CG CG Chewy.
You know, we
hang on.
all have our similarities, right? But
Yeah.
overall, I think as people, the five of us are very different people.
Yeah.
Now I'm finding out we're all so much more similar
know.
than I ever knew.
So wait a minute. You called it RPing because I definitely at that point was calling it cybersex like the news was.
No. It was literally role playing because I was
RPing
role-playing.
was different.
I was role playing as I don't know, this cool guy who was up on a dragon in the rafters, and this person I had a crush on, her name was Midnight, wasn't paying attention to me, and so I was really upset, and
Cybersex
Son of a bitch, he was Midnight, wasn't he?
cyber sex was.
He's putting it. He's sitting here like I'm looking at the hand motions. He's like, yeah, I'm putting it. He's putting it all together.
CG Google. Oh man.
I feel like anything that was considered cybersex when I was a kid was legitimately like you were seeking that out. If you were playing any kind of fantasy at all, it was a role play.
See, for me, it was cyber sex meant you were playing yourself. Role playing meant you were doing it to someone else.
Exactly.
That was the difference.
Even still, I did a lot of like forum role play, but none of it was sexual. It was more like, oh, you're just a character. You're an original character in this random world. Let's post on this BBS, and we're like, okay. But my first screen name was not like a forum or a chat room. It was like my AOL Instant Messenger screen name.
Yeah.
Mine was Angel Kitten 1818.
Oh, Nika.
I was like 12. I know.
Oh my God, you were
Nika.
so basic.
That's so terrible.
And then it became like
Holy
DBZ
shit.
Princess or some shit.
You were the.
that's even worse.
You were the definition of jailbait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Angel Kitten.
and then
Ugh.
DBZ Princess. I was DBZ Princess after that.
Gross.
Yeah. I think my email was DBZ Princess.
What about
like, my Hotmail?
Hang on, I have to ask the man of many faces. Callie, what was your screen name?
So as you might guess, I had two.
Signs were showing early on.
God damn.
And, you know what? I'll tell you about it another time. I had the most telling thing. I don't know how I never picked up on it as a younger person, but I was like, oh shit.
He had a catfish account. That's what he's about to admit.
No,
you had a catfish account, didn't you?
No, I did not have a catfish account. I would not say that. I had a roleplay account for being a girl, but not a catfish one. Okay. So my guy's one was, the name was Sentinus, and it was for don't worry, it was for a vampire persona that I had created.
Oh,
Were you really cool with a long black trench coat?
Oh yeah, I was.
And sunglasses?
Sunglasses.
Did you smoke?
I had Alucard's wide brim hat going all around. I did not smoke. I did not.
He's so
holy
cool.
shit.
Oh yeah.
Awful.
I had that.
Awful.
And then actually, I had a girl's one that was something to the effect of, it was like XX Kitten or something like that.
Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, it was bad.
Wow.
Yeah, he had a catfish account. Wow. That's a catfish account, whether you know it or not, whether you used it for catfish or not.
Kelly, we still have 20 minutes. You might as well tell everyone your story.
So this is just something so we were talking about the other day at work about our first role-playing game that we ever played. And I said D&D 4th edition, forgetting that when I was a kid, I had actually played a little 1st edition. My friend's brother hosted a session for us all. And I was the only one in the group who wanted to play a girl. And my friends thought that was lame and sucked. So I played a girl whose parents raised her as a boy. And now, 20 years later, looking at this, I'm like, holy shit! 9-year-old me was kind of self-aware.
Wow.
Yeah, that's definitely okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was something.
All right.
Anyway, someone else tell their story about their account was.
All right, so I'll go ahead and go next. My very, very first screen name, which would have again been an AOL, wasn't anything super creative. I think it was
Juggalo Prince.
No, it was my initials,
King of Clowns,
which is rap, and then probably some type of number on the end of it, so it wasn't super crazy.
Hold up, one second. We just need to point this out from the chat. Ellie the Druid pointing out, oh my god, my Gaia login still works. My name is so cringe. Mrs. Demon Kagome.
Oh
no!
Kagome.
Oh no!
Yeah, I recently got my Gaia thing reinstated. I can't remember why.
I'm gonna log into mine.
Yeah,
I
one
don't
of my
remember
friends
the name,
was
but I'll
like,
figure it out.
You should log in Gaia again because I still play this and it's so different now. And I was like, okay. And then Gaia was like, nope, we've deactivated your account 4 years ago. And I was like, fuck. So I like emailed their customer service and they reinstated it for me. And all my shit's still here. I'm
gonna do this. I'm gonna go. Like, I'm sure if it was my Yahoo email, I'll use that.
We need more people in the chat to start sharing those. I actually, Viscerin said, thank you, A-Holes, for reminding me of my dark past. Gotta go bash my skull in so I can forget again.
Come on, Viscerin.
Not until you put it in the chat.
Yeah, you gotta share. You gotta share what it was.
Anyway, my first, like, I guess, screen name that I put any thought into actually can be connected to what I go by now on forums. I was Amorikalo, which is made from a bunch of different words from Tolkien's Elvish, which translates to the Dark Hero.
Fucking nerd.
Wow.
Wow.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That was your first?
That was one of my first ones. Yep. I remember going through the back of the Silmarillion, like where it has all the different words and the translations, and like making a name based on all those words and stuff.
Who does that at like 12 years old?
Yeah, I was big.
I might have done that at 16.
I was gonna say I was big in like creative writing and stuff like that.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
Dude, my first screen name was DXHBKDX.
Yeah.
XHK.
Yes, it's a wrestling reference.
Yeah, like
Sure
HBK,
fucking
like
is.
Heartbreak Kid, is that?
Yep,
Yeah.
DX, Heartbreak Kid, DX.
Yeah.
Oh,
I had that for a long time.
Yeah.
And I had that screen name when Shawn Michaels did a live AOL chat room. And I was so proud.
What year was that in?
Because he said something about it, and I was like, "Oh my god, he noticed me."
What year was that? Where Shawn Michaels did an AOL. Was that when he lost his smile and he needed something to do?
No. That was when it was in the run up to WrestleMania where he won in the Iron Man match.
Oh.
That was actually when Vince was, I guess, giving him the promo push, and
Yeah.
they had that big deal with AOL. So you would have like Shawn Michaels or Stone Cold that would sit. They would sit in a chat room. No one. That was not true. Like
it was
I
not
don't-
actually.
No,
them.
I don't think it was
Absolutely
him.
not. It was their PR person.
They'd be in the same building, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, someone asked this question.
You get these really stupid moments where they would put the camera on them, and they'd have the keyboard right in front of them, and it would be like, of course, a fucking laptop from 1997, right? So it'd be like a fucking brick, and they'd be sitting there doing like, they'd be like shadow typing and, like doing all of these big, like fucking stupid
motions.
pantomimes. And you could tell that they weren't actually, but I was like, oh, he acknowledged my name.
All right, yes or no? Did you ever once role play as Shawn Michaels?
Fuck no.
Okay, just checking.
No. I had someone do the thing online where they pretended to be someone they weren't.
Right.
Like, I had that happen early on, and I was like, well, fuck that. I'm never going to do that.
Yeah, I didn't get burned on that till a little later in life.
Yeah. I think the first time you get burned on it is when you're like, yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
Yep.
Like, and it is. It's such a fucked up thing to do.
Yeah. Have you seen? It's like have you seen the College Humor bit where the guy shows up at the door and he's like handing a letter because the person had died in war, so he's handing like the notification to the next of kin, and it's someone he'd been catfishing online.
Oh,
so
no.
it's a guy instead of a girl. He's like, no, that's me. They're like,
Oh,
you're
no.
Jennifer Stevens. He's like, yes. And he's like going through this long thing about like what all their plans were for life, and the guy's just like looking at him horrified because he's been catfishing this guy. And then at the end of the video, like 3 more people show up with the same letter.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Man,
That's a video that hit very close to home. Little too true.
I don't miss the AOL AIM days.
No,
at
but
all.
we all started there.
At all.
Yeah.
Man, I like the instant messenger because you can change the background on your font and your color.
Yeah, dude, that was the best. I remember like really fancy away messages with all the different
Yeah,
colors.
okay.
Not just,
That was great.
flashing
Yes.
gifts, like
Specifically to the away messages, the amount of drama and like passive aggressive
Yes.
crap
Yes.
that happened in
Oh my
away
God,
messages.
I do remember
I was
that.
thinking about that the other night when I was on Discord. I'm like, can I set up an away message so if someone messages me? That was something they had on AIM. How is that acceptable that it's not here?
It's kind of true. Like it was. I do remember all of the
I don't
passive
feel like
aggressiveness.
talking right now.
Yeah.
Right after you have a fight.
Right. Oh my God.
Don't call me at XXXXXXXX.
How many significant others did you have where AIM was your primary mode of conversation?
One I dated for 5.5 years.
Oh my God.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Eventually, we met in real life.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
So-
That's how.
For a good year, like the first year that me and the Flood were together, it was mostly through AIM.
Absolutely. I met when I started before I dated Sunny, her and I were friends for 5 years, primarily through Gaia and AIM before we ever met.
Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
that's sad.
So mine was actually my second high school boyfriend, like the most horrible guy I've ever dated. Myself and his ex-girlfriend used AIM to corner him in lies, and it was the most beautiful thing. Like one of us would ask him a question and he would tell us one answer, then the other one of us would wait like 5 minutes and ask the same question and he'd give a different answer, then we'd copy and paste to each other.
Wow.
It was yeah, and he was a
That
big
sounds
asshole.
dramatic.
But then later, like 2 months later, I checked her away message and it said they were back together. I was like, fuck, seriously? After all of that we did to prove how horrible he was, you're back with him.
Who else had the profile on AIM? Who else had their profile just full of funny quotes and things they've seen?
Oh, I
throughout their
had
life?
tons of quotes on
Yeah.
mine.
I had like 90 of them.
I
in
had
there.
funny quotes that I said.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How many of those were actually funny?
None.
All of them.
None. Not a single one.
I know they're funny because when I said it and the other person said LOL back. That means they were laughing out loud.
What if you could
Literally everything anyone ever said LOL to, he put in there like it's comedy gold. They wouldn't lie to me.
if you could log into your AIM account right now, what would be the last away message you think you left?
Oh, jeez. I have no fucking
Oh
I don't even
my
know where
God.
to begin.
I could probably log in.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of want to download AIM and see what happens.
Do we have AIM on this computer?
Fuck no, you don't have. Why would AIM be on that computer?
Didn't AIM
Why don't-
just?
why
No,
don't-
AIM just got discontinued. I thought, didn't
Did it?
Well, no, it's like
No.
Why don't we?
Because Surin used to use it with a friend that we had.
Did anyone else use Trillion?
No.
Oh, wait, so in
Trillion was
says
one
in
program
May.
that had
You know what?
Yahoo Messenger,
Yes.
ICQ, and AIM.
I
all
do
in
remember
one,
it.
so you could have all.
I did.
Yeah, Trillion
I did
was great.
I did use Trillion for a long time.
I thought ICQ was the coolest thing ever because you could see what they were typing in real time.
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about
I
that.
never used that program.
I didn't have any friends on it, so neither did I. But I thought it was really cool.
Just a cool fact.
Man, I miss.
Have we revealed more about ourselves than we ever intended today?
Probably.
Nico was so basic.
I mean, but the thing is
she
that
still is.
That's fair.
But the thing is that I wasn't basic enough to be popular with the other basic girls because I also was a DBZ princess, and that to them was not cool.
No, that was not going to fly
you
with
were a
anybody.
basic loser.
Clearly, yeah. So.
God
Kitten,
damn.
Princess Diamond Moon, whatever the fuck it was.
Seriously.
Oh, I also had a screen name on AMV music videos where I was Trunks' girlfriend.
Oh no! By the way, someone
Yes.
mentioned
I
Meebo,
was
and oh my god, I'd
bad.
forgotten about Meebo.
I was so into Dragon Ball Z that I don't know, it was overtaking my
That
being.
you were
It was
Trunks'
horrible.
girlfriend.
Yes, I was. It was horrible.
I think I'm pretty sure at some point I had a screen name that had an SSJ on it.
I absolutely had an SSJ name at some point.
Almost
I
positive that I
hated
did.
all those people.
SSJ Captain Kabutops.
I knew like 5 different people with SSJ in their screen names.
I'm SSJ 5 because it's one higher than he ever goes. All right,
Yeah.
great.
I thought
No,
there
don't
was
you want to
an
hear the
SSJ
lore on
5
how
now.
you get there? No, go away.
You just scream really loudly.
Man, one of the first things that I got into outside of like Ultima Online was this thing called Active Worlds. Do you guys
Worlds, I don't
remember
know
any of
that
that?
one, no.
It was sort of like a precursor to Second Life.
Okay.
Where you could build things.
First
like
Life, then.
You could run a private server,
Sure.
right? And you could have run your own instance of Active Worlds, and it could be whatever you want. And it had this very kind of like malleable programming language where you could build all kinds of really intricate shit, but it was basically a visual chat room. Like most of the shit that went on in there was just people talking to one another. It was
Yeah.
very, very sandboxy.
Yeah.
But I remember that there was a world that I had collaborated with a bunch of other people on where we had actually made like Pokemon gyms, and you could do very kind of
cool.
like very basic Pokemon battles.
Okay.
And it would just use kind of tiles where we would take like JPEGs of different Pokemon and put them in there.
Ah, okay.
It was actually
you know what this
really
sounds
fun.
like?
What?
A very primitive online card game.
Stop it. Fucking stop it.
I'm sorry, I was tuned out
Don't-
for a while, but I came back in when I heard card game.
No.
Jim, like, oh my god, I've forgotten. MSN Messenger
I
was
used
the thing way
MSN
back.
Messenger.
I had an MSN Messenger.
I also really liked Yahoo Messenger because if someone wasn't paying attention, you could hit that buzz button and it would
Yep.
vibrate and
Yep.
scream at them like.
Remember when you couldn't uninstall MSN Messenger? Like there was just nothing. It was
Because
like
then it changed into MSN Live Messenger, and then they're like, I can't get rid of this, and you're always signed in with your MSN account at all times. I
Yep,
was like,
they were like
"Stop, stop."
it's like necessary bloatware. Here you go.
Yep.
Microsoft was like, you can never get rid of this. I mean, at least you can uninstall like what is it? What did Internet Explorer?
Oh my
change
god. Demon Tech in the chat just said AIM is now an app, and it absolutely is.
Is it
Oh,
really?
shit.
You
Sarah
can
says they
download
discontinued AIM
AIM
in
onto
May.
your phone. Ugh.
Like, it doesn't have computer support anymore.
I kind of want to download this.
Guess what we're using for the LPR host chat from now on?
Can we please? Because Facebook chat sucks.
Fucking Facebook chat is the worst.
Installing
Oh, I-
AIM.
Or just,
Holy.
done.
just use a private Discord chat. Or group me works.
Why use something effective?
No, we're using AIM
We're
because we
using
gotta be
AIM,
edgy.
bitch.
I love how we're taking up time on the show.
I just agreed to the end user license agreement for AIM in 2017.
God, stop
so
it.
I'm just gonna
Stop
say,
it.
I hope you.
No.
I mean, it's a
What
good
is
thing.
my name?
It's a good thing that you don't have any fucking children because you just
Please be
agreed to
Kitten
sign away the first
XXX.
3 of them.
Can we have like really cringy screen names for this too?
Oh, absolutely. Well, okay, we're gonna make
I'll
new
be
ones.
Angel Kitten again.
Hold up, I need to sign on to trying to figure out what my original one was and see if any of my friends are still online. Oh shit!
Wait, can
what
you
was my
sign in with your
password
original
back then?
screen names?
See,
I'm gonna try.
That's my biggest problem. Like, remember, my screen name is one thing, but like my password has evolved through so many different things.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Mine worked.
Yours did. Shut the
Really?
fuck up.
You're on your original AIM?
Yeah.
How many friends? How many friends
Hold
do you have
on, I'm
online?
getting there. Hold on.
All right, I need to know your last.
I can't. If
your
by the way,
last
if-
away message.
Well, if it saved all of that.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
if it did.
Does it have your friend list?
It does.
no.
It does
Oh
have
my
your
god,
friend
it
list?
has my groups. I have individuals, Pokegoon, Pokemans. Ooh, I don't like that one. Other
What? You don't like
contents?
what one?
What one? Was it something really racist?
No, it's Blank's friend. Someone who used to dates from.
Oh, yep.
Facebook,
okay.
online, SSBS.
You were using.
That is a callback to
Super Smash
Game
Brothers.
Facts.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
Super Smash Brothers social board.
Oh my god.
I'm so scared to try
All right,
to
The Yu-Gi-Oh Mafia. Oh, that's my friend.
Hang on.
Nebo
Go.
rooms.
Hang on. No. You don't.
It gets
You don't
cringier.
just. You don't get to
It's-
just. You do not get to just blow past the Yu-Gi-Oh Mafia. What the fuck is the Yu-Gi-Oh Mafia?
Well, it's basically what you would think it is.
don't
Back
just-
in high school,
They'll
I
just
went
send
to
you
a
to the
card shop.
shadows zone.
This
They-
is, these,
just
are two,
Shadow
these, are two,
Realm.
these are two goddamn words that I never thought would exist in the same sentence. So no, you have to explain this.
You activated my trap card. Now you have bricks on your feet. Throw you into the Shadow Realm now. So you sink to the bottom where it's extra dark.
It's just my card group of friends for the card shop that got closed down like 7 years ago.
Yu-Gi-Oh Mafia.
I mean, that's not what we called each other, but that's what my group was called.
Oh wow! It says my new password is brilliant. That's good.
Okay, we all know his password now. It's brilliant.
Hold on, you said it gets cringier. Keep going then.
Oh yeah, I got Meebo rooms. I don't know what that was for. Clan sex. Not what you'd think. It's
Oh, is it not?
unfortunately no. It's even worse than that. On the SSBSS, all of the really cool people came together and made like clans and stuff. And the really cool people were the badasses, in which I wasn't part of the original founders, but I got placed in it like 2 months down the road, and that's. I called it clan sex. and then
Because getting into that group probably felt as good as what sex would when you eventually had it.
Yeah, because it was all the cool people.
Jesus.
Oh my shit.
We also have Tides of Blood. That was a Warcraft 3 mod that was superior to Dota in every single way, but never took off the ground. I'm still salty about that.
To this day, every time he hears about Dota 2, he's like, that mod was better.
It's not Clans of Blood.
Tides of Blood, what you could have been. And then friends.
There's no one in
Just
that one.
friends?
Just friends.
Can you set an away message? Can you set a?
Let's see, I'm looking.
I can't
Because
remember
if
what
you
my
do
passwords
not
are. I'm trying.
Because if
I
you
had to-
saved your last away message, I need to know what it was.
I had to answer a security question, which is, what is the name of your pet? And I'm like, fuck, what year did I write that in? I can't believe I got it right. I had 13 dogs at the time that question was asked.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I don't think there's any way for me to even like try and find out what my old password or screen name was, because I'm pretty sure it'll send me to an email address that I haven't touched in.
That's
I'm
that's
trying to
part of it.
log into that
Ever.
Hotmail email, and it says that it still possibly exists, but I cannot think of the password.
Oh, can you imagine the amount of spam that's going to be in there, though?
What the?
Oh,
do I
God,
have
I'm
people
sure.
online right now?
Do you?
I do.
You do?
Somehow.
I do.
Send them a message that's
I
just, hey, winky face.
Someone's name is.
No. Chris, send him a dick pic. That has got to be like the strangest place to get an unsolicited dick pic in 2017, right?
I don't think you can set an away message anymore.
No!
I don't think you can.
No!
What's the point?
Fuck it. No, we're done. We're not using AIM. If we can't set passive aggressive away messages, then I don't want to.
Oh, I think I found my login for my
I don't want to be a part of it.
email. Here we go.
Oh my god.
I think I figured.
I can't believe that
it says there's something fishy about this. We're gonna email your other email and put in a code to make sure it's really you. At least I still have the other email that is sent.
I messaged this person. They go, "Holy hell! I haven't heard from you in a while."
Wait, really? You're
only
talking
a
to someone right
decade,
now?
yeah.
Now ask them why the fuck they're still using AIM. Jesus.
I'll find out.
Where the fuck are we?
Do you know who that person is?
I do know them. Yes.
year is it?
This is the weirdest nostalgia trip ever.
It really is. I really have no idea.
Like,
How
like,
did
you know,
we?
sometimes you end up on the weird side of YouTube. This is like the weird side of the 90s.
How did we get from
Rape Tavern?
Rape Taverns to getting back on
online experiences
AIM?
as children.
I don't know, but
it's totally relevant.
It's been a great trip, hasn't it?
I don't know if I'd say that.
I mean, the person that you
Look at Infinity Fox. This has been the best show. You know what? An element of me agrees with that. It's been weird, but it's been real. This is the most real show we've ever had.
Okay, I just want to know that the topic was talking about rape magicians and shit, and now it's the most real show for Callie.
rape magicians.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself more as like a rapist who does magic or a magician who also likes to rape?
That's
3 years coming. Crazy.
You know what? I wondered why rape magicians sounded familiar.
Oh, you stepped right in it.
I did.
You know what? If
I
anyone's
did.
ever willing to like animate a segment of our show, can it
you
please
stepped
be
in it
from
now,
this
mate.
episode?
By the way, that clip was from the League. That was Nick Kroll from the League. I just want to mention this before we sign off the air. That Nick Kroll has a new show. It was just released on Netflix. A lot of really funny people in it. Fred Armisen is in it. I think her name's Julie Klein. John Mulaney is also in it as well. It's an animated show. And
I do like John Mulaney.
yeah, and it's
a pussycat.
pretty fucked up. I'm gonna just put that out there. Like, be ready for like a pretty it's very sex positive.
Yeah.
But it's funny. It's very good. Check it out. Big Mouth. I didn't like the animation at first, but it started to grow on me after a while. I think it may have been someone who was closely associated with Duckman that might be responsible for the character designs, but it's a weird show, but it definitely gets a recommend for me. All right, that's going to be it for our final
Wait,
encounter.
I have something to plug before we go.
Okay, then, Nika.
Real quick, I just wanted you to know I sent a
Not doing
message
it.
to everybody on AIM that is on AIM currently, and I did not get a single away message.
Wait, hold on. Because it actually forwarded it to my phone.
Wait, what?
I got an IM. It just says CG Chewy. Oh, 1337. Hi.
Yeah, that's me. Who are you?
I need to figure out. So I got into my Hotmail account, but Hotmail's been completely revamped
How
with
is
Outlook.
How is
and
my phone attached?
my inbox is gone.
Wait, you can give me my IM or my screen name.
Are you? Jeez.
What?
Are you D3A7H?
No.
No. No. Okay.
No.
Well, you can't be Drew Haas.
No.
No, that's you. Oh wait, are you a monoxide clone?
Oh my God, he was right.
Monoxide.
That's Twisted, not ICP. But yeah, wow. I remember that.
Now you know your name.
Oh, you get a fist bump for that. Fist bump.
I was fucking right. I was fucking right. You hatchet man juggalo piece of shit. Oh my! How did you not? And I don't
forgot.
Don't believe it. I don't believe that for a fucking second. All of us are sitting here talking about our embarrassing ass screen names, and you're just
Hey,
like,
you withheld
an
ICP
I
one.
looked it up. I looked up a Tolkien reference.
Trying to make the moral high ground of nerds.
Yeah,
Get
fucking-
the fuck out of here.
Don't high road us on this show,
No,
you
because that
dick.
the payoff of you being right was so good. It was so good.
all right.
Okay, anyway,